All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm super excited for this one. So, today we're going to be baking a butterbeer flavored cake. Now, I've assisted my mom with baking cakes in the past, but this is going to be the first one that I'm actually doing by myself. So hopefully it won't completely and utterly fail. Also, I'm going to leave as many links in the description as I possibly can as far as how this whole entire thing was put together, from recipes online, etc., etc. Right, I'm just going to hop into it. I'm on a bit of a time crunch. I'm making it for dinner tonight at our department Christmas dinner, so let's see how this goes. Right, so first you're going to start with preheating your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I went ahead and pre-measured a lot of the ingredients just to make this a little bit easier. So we're going to start with 2 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 1/4 teaspoons of baking powder. So next you're going to want about 3.5 ounces of butterscotch flavored instant pudding mix. I feel it also important to mention that I have also set aside outside of the refrigerator the butter that I'm going to need for this recipe. That way it can soften up a little bit. All right, so next you're going to want about half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, now we're going to whisk it all together until it's well combined. Now, I don't have any fancy mixers like some of you overachievers, so we're going to see how this goes. We'll see how tired my arm gets when things really start coming together. Okay, so we've set that aside, and in a different bowl, we're going to add a cup of granulated sugar. All right, next we're going to add 3/4 cup of unsalted butter. Then you have to paddle mix and cream this mixture until it's a pale and fluffy texture. I had to switch to a metal spoon because the paddle just was not getting it. So this is what it's supposed to look like in the end, right here. It's already smelling so good. So next you gotta add 3 eggs into it, but you gotta mix them in one at a time, so it says. Here we go. Yep, so getting it all spread in there. You know, they really don't talk about this. It is very hard to multitask mixing, talking, and recording at the same time. All right, now we're adding a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Really and truly, you're supposed to be using one of those fancy, schmancy, gigantic mixer things to do this, but yeah, I don't have one of those. So there's times where I think it's going right, and then other times where I think it's not going right. It looks smooth, then it looks chunky. We're gonna hope for the best. All right, so this is the part where we start adding the cream soda. So we're gonna alternate the cream soda with our flour mixture here into what we just got done mixing together with the butter and the eggs and all that. So you're gonna start with the flour and you're gonna end with the flour. So there's 3 flours and 2 cream sodas, all right? Oh, and that's 1 1/4 of a cup cream soda. All right, here we go. Now it's important to remember that each time we make an addition here, we've got to mix it until it's fully combined before adding the next addition. Okay, already starting to get thick. Hey, look what I found. What a concept. Okay, first part of cream soda. Well, this feels like it looks right anyway. Not that I'm an expert. All right, so next we're gonna grease the pan. All right, let's add the mix to the pan. So it actually calls for a certain type of cake pan that you're supposed to do this recipe with, but I don't have anything like that, so I'm gonna try and do it in a simple 9x13 pan. All right, now we're gonna spread it out evenly in the pan. And I gotta say, even if this completely and utterly fails, it at the very least smells good. And you know, I hold the belief this is about the only thing that cream soda is useful for, because by itself it just tastes horrendous. All right, into the oven it goes for about 40 minutes. Okay, so while it does its thing, we're gonna try and work on some of the other parts to this as well, because yeah, this is taking longer than what even I intended. Okay, next we're adding 1 1/2 cup of butter, and we're gonna beat that until it's creamy. You know, maybe I should ask for a mixer for Christmas. And I know you might be thinking, this is a lot of butter for one recipe. And you know what? You'd be right. Paula Deen would be proud. Okay, next we're gonna add 4 cups of powdered sugar, 1 cup at a time. Okay, now we're gonna add 14 ounces of marshmallow fluff, which is 2 of these containers right here. And we're gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Man, it smells so good in here. It's starting to really come through in the oven. I'm gonna add this real quick and then I'll check on it again. Okay, I had to put a pause on that real quick because this got done and it kind of got a little dark on the outside, but the inside just really needed to solidify. And so that's where we're at on that. So we're gonna let that cool off for a while we finish up mixing together our icing right here. So I just added the vanilla extract. I gotta say, I was getting really concerned for a moment there. Not sure that this was gonna come together, but then it finally started looking like real icing. And so here we are. Okay, might need to bring you a little bit closer for this next step, but now we're gonna do the butterscotch drizzle that's gonna go on top of the cake. Okay, starting with taking a little pot, we're gonna take a half a cup of butter and melt it over medium heat. Okay, so once the butter melts completely, we're gonna add 1 1/2 cups of dark brown sugar as well as half a teaspoon of lemon juice, and it's gonna take on a bit of a wet sand appearance. Okay, here we go with the dark brown sugar. Oh gosh. And now the lemon juice. Combine this, give it a good mix. I don't know if I can show it well here, but you can kind of see the consistency that it's taking on here. So now it says to bring it to a boil, then reduce it back to a low steady boil and stir frequently for 2 to 3 minutes until it gets from grainy to smooth. This is kind of oddly satisfying. You can kind of slowly feel it kind of lose that graininess to where it's becoming smooth. It's really weird. It's hard to describe exactly how it feels. I don't want to speak too soon, but this feels like it might be the easiest part of the whole process. That should be about 3 minutes. I'm going to take it off heat to make sure I definitely don't mess it up. Okay. Now it says stand back while you add the cream. So let me do that real quick. So 1 cup of heavy cream, then you combine it, and then you bring it back to a boil. Correction, it's back to a low boil. Then cook for 4 minutes, stirring it frequently. Now the final 2 ingredients is a tablespoon of vanilla extract and a half a teaspoon of flaky salt. Now I wasn't going to buy a whole container of flaky salt just to use half a teaspoon of it, so I'm using regular salt. Hope that doesn't make any difference, but that's where we're at. Okay, taking it off heat just so I don't mess up. Go ahead and toss the salt in there. And now the vanilla extract. Just gonna combine this together real quick. And so this here will be your end product. Now we're just gonna allow it to cool. Okay, here we are. I think the cake has cooled down substantially. We're now gonna add the icing to it. Just give it a good spread. Okay, now it's time to add the little bit of drizzle here. It's probably going to be really messy trying to do it this way, but oh well. Let's just give it a little spread. All right, now all that's left is to pop it into the fridge and let it chill for 20 minutes. All right, and here is the finished product. All right, and this is what it looks like with a piece cut out of it. Well, it's only right for me to try it out just so I can make sure it's good enough to take to the department later. So here it goes. Well, the outermost part's a little tough, but overall I'm kind of impressed that I actually pulled this off. Yeah, pretty good, I gotta say. Be interesting to see what everybody else thinks of it tonight. Update. The cake was a massive hit at the dinner, a whole lot more than what I realized it was going to be. So I think we can go ahead and call this one a success. The funny thing is that I went to leave that evening with the cake in hand, and one of the guys I work with didn't realize I'd left the kitchen with it, and he went in the kitchen looking for that cake. And I could hear him talking, and they're wondering where it was, and he sounded genuinely upset that it was gone, so I thought that was pretty funny. So I went back in there so he could get some more pieces of it. So yeah, that made me feel pretty good about it, and certainly inspired more confidence in my ability to bake. So that does it for this video. Just wanted to film a quick closing for it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video.